Welcome back to Tackle the Numbers, the channel next in line to lose in the closing minutes to Utah. My name is Alistair Poole. As always, this video is also available as a podcast. If you'd rather listen than watch, check the link in the video description. Let's start with that Utah upset. For the third week in a row, Utah has made a late surge to pull past their opponents. They were expected to lose to their opponents, Rugby United New York, by 8, 22-29. Instead, they did what they have become so good at and pulled out a win. They didn't leave it quite as late this week, keeping pace for most of the match and scoring the match winner with a positively comfy 3 minutes on the clock. Utah went for an unusual arrangement, putting many of their starters on the bench, and it says a lot about their second string that they were able to keep pace, giving the starters a chance to finish it. This match was a positive for Utah's ratings, but not a huge one. Their defense improved to 30.8, which is still worse than average, while their attack dropped slightly to 11.4 points. That's still spectacularly good. Overall, that puts them almost exactly average, with a combined margin of minus 0.1 points. That doesn't seem right for a team that just took down Rooney on the road, but those are the numbers. Winning at the last minute is better than losing, but it's inherently risky. Rooney, meanwhile, dropped quite a bit from this match. Their defense suffered the most, falling to 21.5 points. That's still not bad, but it's no better than their playoff competitor NOLA. On attack, they also took a dip to 4.4 points. That gives them a 3.7 point combined margin. Very respectable, but probably disappointing to them given where they were. Houston visited Atlanta for a rainy match. They were expected to lose by 13, 16-29, and that wasn't too far off, as they actually lost by 18, 15-33. The Sabercats' strategy in this was pretty much to kick for points whenever they got the opportunity, and for a while it looked like that might actually be enough for a win. However, the ATL machine turned on in the second half, and they went on a 21-0 run to seal it. Houston's ratings are looking pretty bleak right now. Their defense worsened to 36.1, which is pretty bad, and while their attack did improve, it's still at a terrible minus 10 points. Overall, they are languishing at minus 7.4 points in their combined margin. They are the worst team in the league in every metric in my model. Sorry, Houston fans. Atlanta stayed roughly level as well. Their defense improved slightly, hitting 16 points even, while their attack dropped off a bit to minus 1.4 points. Those movements canceled each other out, leaving their combined margin level at 5.6 points. The California Cup saw LA travel to San Diego, who were finally back on their home turf after spending all season traveling. LA were predicted to take it by 8, 26-18. That margin was pretty much correct, with LA actually winning by 6, 19-13. San Diego looked like the better team for most of the match, though. They'll feel pretty disappointed that they didn't come away with this one. With this match, LA's defense improved to a record low 12.2 points, the best we've ever seen in the MLR. On attack, though, they've dropped to 2.4 points. They're now just the fourth best attack, which is shocking for a team that was almost unstoppable at the beginning of the year. That doesn't hurt their combined margin much, though, as the model values defense much more highly than their old attack. They have an 8.5 point combined margin. For San Diego, this was a huge bump. It may seem weird that only scoring 13 points would actually improve their attacking rating, but because LA is so good on defense, 13 points isn't actually too bad. Their attack is now up there with Utah at 10.6 points. Their defense also improved, hitting basically average at 25.7 points, which gives them a respectable 2.6 point combined margin. There was another rainy match in Georgia, with NOLA playing Toronto. The Gold were expected to win by 5, 27-22. The model pretty much got the margin right, as NOLA won by 6. However, the conditions kept the scoring low, just 18-12. The scoring suggests that it was close, as the two teams traded the lead before Nola grabbed a couple of penalties late to seal it. However, Nola looked like the better team, especially as the conditions began to tire out the Arrows. For Nola, this did lead to a small improvement. Their attack remains poor at -5 points, no surprise there, but their defense improved to a reasonably good 20.1 points. That puts their combined margin at 2.6 points, which isn't that far behind Rooney. This was a bigger boost for Toronto, though, who saw their defense improve dramatically to a nearly average 26.8 points. However, they dropped a lot on attack to -6.8 points, which is pretty bad. Some of that is down to the weather, but they also haven't broken past 30 points since early May. Overall, their combined margin is -1.5, a noticeable improvement. Finally, we had a high-scoring affair with Austin visiting Seattle. The AGs were expected to take it by 4, 23-19, and once again the margin was very close, as they actually won by 5. However, the score predictions were far too low, as it was actually 36-31. Seattle was behind from the get-go in this match. Even with their improved performance in recent weeks, they could not hold the Austin attack in check. And speaking of that Austin attack, this match finally pushed them above average. This is the best attack we've ever seen from this team at 1.8 points. Their defensive baseline, however, plummeted. This match was already not great, and combined with the fact that it pushed their 16-9 victory over Rooney out of the average, it wrecked their defensive rating. They are now at just a bit better than average at 25.2 points. That puts them at a 1.1 point combined margin, which is lower than you'd want for a playoff hopeful. This also wasn't a great look for Seattle. They did improve slightly on attack to -3.4 points, but their defense got significantly worse, hitting 28.5 points. That leaves them at a -1.8 point combined margin. Seattle has occasionally figured out attack and occasionally figured out defense, but they can't quite seem to get both at the same time. In the rankings this week, we saw LA hold on to the top spot. Behind them, Atlanta flip-flopped with Rooney for 2nd and 3rd respectively. NOLA and San Diego rose up 1 and 2 spots respectively to tie at 4th, while Austin dropped 2 spots to 6th. In the bottom half, New England held on to 7th, while Utah rose up 1 to 8th. Behind them, Toronto rose 2 spots to 9th, while Seattle slid 2 spots to tie with Old Glory in 10th. In the last place is still Houston. In the playoff race, Toronto has been mathematically eliminated, making them the 3rd team that officially will not make the postseason. The Legion, because they couldn't quite pull past LA this week, is all but eliminated, as is Old Glory. In the West, LA has very nearly locked up the top playoff spot with a 98% chance to make it. Utah made a big step in securing their own spot with their upset of Rooney. They now have an 83% chance to make it. Since they have a 5 table point lead over Austin with just 3 matches to play, Utah would have to lose at least once, but probably twice to lose their spot. And that's assuming Austin runs the table, a tough task considering they have San Diego and LA these next 2 weeks. In the East, Rooney's loss has solidified Atlanta's position, as they now have an 88% chance to make the playoffs. It also narrowed the gap between Rooney and NOLA, which is just 3 table points at this point. That means that, despite Rooney having the lead, NOLA still have control of their own destiny, as the 2 teams play each other in the last match of the season. However, NOLA's path is harder than Rooney's. They both have 4 matches left, one of which is against each other, and another of which is against the Pre-Jacks. The 2 other matches for Rooney are Toronto and Houston, while NOLA has Seattle and LA. I know which 2 teams I would rather be facing. Rooney's easier schedule and existing lead give them a 65% chance to make the playoffs, while NOLA has a 35% chance. Not to be forgotten are the Free Jacks, who still have a 12% chance to make it. They don't control their own destiny, being 7 table points behind Rooney, but they have matches against both other contenders before the end of the season. On to the matches this weekend. Houston will host the Warriors, who will be expected to win by 7, 31-25. However, given the SaberCats' anemic performances recently, I'd be surprised if it's that close. Utah has a 70% chance to walk away with this. Next will be Old Glory traveling to face Atlanta. The home team is expected to win by 7, 25-18, which is a 70% chance to win. Old Glory should be fully fit for the first time in a while, so we'll see how they come off their bye week. But I'd be surprised if anyone is picking against Atlanta at this point. Austin will travel to San Diego to take on the Legion. It's predicted to be a close one, with San Diego favored by just 2 points, 26-24. That's a 54% chance to win. However, we'll see if Austin brings any extra fire given the playoff implications of this match. If they lose, their postseason hopes will be essentially dead. Next, we'll have Toronto hosting Rooney. The Roosters are expected to win this one by 5, 25-20. That's a 65% chance to win. Toronto should have reinforcements coming in for this match. However, Rooney has more to play for and isn't likely to lose to a team that has lost their mojo like the Arrows have. The one and only match this week where both teams have their playoff hopes on the line will be NOLA at New England. NOLA is expected to win by 2, 23-21, which is a 56% chance to win, but I could see this being an upset. The home venue should help New England, and NOLA's wins have been touch and go recently. Personally, I'd call this one a toss-up. Finally, LA will travel to Seattle for their rematch. LA is expected to win by 10, 26-16. That's a 77% chance to win. We'll see which Seattle shows up, defensive Seattle or attacking Seattle, but either way, I don't think there's much chance of an upset here. Well, that's all for me this week. If you want to pick against my numbers or check out my graphs and charts, head over to tacklethenumbers.gloriousrugby.com. If you have questions or comments for the show, you can reach me at tacklethenumbers@gloriousrugby.com. Till next time, folks.